Hi guys, I'm just jumping right into the narration here today. This is the Studio Calico May kit. It was called 35 millimeter, and I also have the add-on called Lomography. And I'm just flipping through the paper and embellishments and trying to figure out just some papers that speak to me for the tone I wanted for this layout. I really wanted it to be a soft toned layout, and I was going to use a banner, so I pulled out a Heidi Swap banner there, and right now I'm just kind of trying to decide on background papers, and I'm trying to cover up that frame because I wanted the frame to be in a pattern paper. It was going to be yellow, but then I decided to go with this chevron paper from Dear Lizzie, and yeah, so I ended up cutting out a frame with my silhouette. As you can see there, I just designed it myself. It was easy. I use the word design very loosely here. It was super easy. It was a rectangle with a rounded rectangle inside of it. So I'm just inking the edges of it just to give it a bit more I guess definition around the edges of it, and I wanted to cover up the frame that came with the photo because I didn't care for it all that much, and I tried to peel it off, and it was actually tearing the photo, and that's the only copy of that photo that I have. So at this point I decide to not use the green background and go with that wood grain cardstock instead, or pattern paper I guess it is, and I really love that diagonal striped paper. I love, love, love it. It's probably my favorite paper in the whole kit. So I'm just edging that in that gray ink too. That's London Fog by Memento. It's my favorite gray. And I'm just taking the strip off that wood grain paper, and I'm going to back it on a piece of white cardstock just because it is pattern paper, so it's not quite as sturdy as a cardstock would be. And I was actually thinking about using that banner as separate triangles, but I was just doing some figuring out there for spacing. And now I'm cutting out pieces of rulers in colors that I like. So I wanted a yellow and I wanted a brown. But I also made sure that I had the number 16 on one of them and the number 3 on the other, because that's how old the kids were, 16 months and almost 3 years. And so I wanted to make sure that I incorporated those numbers into the layout. And here I'm just using some, ooh, a little bit too much, Mr. Huey's, and yeah, just doing some spraying, some misting, and some paint splatting. And I will cover up that big giant blob that I made. And so here I'm just taking some die cut shapes that came in the kit. And I don't know who made those die cut shapes. They didn't come in packaging that had a name, but it's all on the Studio Calico website if you're dying to know. And so I'm just kind of fiddling around trying to see where I want to place the different elements, and yeah. So I'm making a little banner. I use my square punch to make the fishtails, and here I'm using a Stampin' Up punch. It's called the decorative label punch, just to make a shape out of that yellow damask paper that I had chosen from the kit to begin with. And so then I decided it needed a bit more oomph, so I used a Jenny Bolin Lemon Drop ink pad to stamp a pattern, or to stamp an image. It's from the 4-frame stamp from Stampin' Up, and then I punched it out. And then after, I liked it so much that I decided to do another one just for someplace else on the layout, for up in that corner. And so I'm really liking how this is coming together at this point, and just trying to figure out some more of the embellishments. I often will put down all my papers and then figure out the embellishments, but for this layout I was kind of trying to figure it all out at the same time. So just layering things the best that I can, and then I just added some washi tape up there just for a little bit of interest. And that's the washi tape that came in the Studio Calico kit. It's very subtle. It's almost all see-through, and then it's got tiny, tiny little tealish green triangles on it. You'll see it on the close-ups. So now I'm just folding that die cut shape, or that punched out shape, around the and a lot of those die cuts had the little knobbies on them from where they were punched out, and so I had to shave those off, and I just used my roller stamp, just my office one, for putting the date on that, and I attached it with my tiny attacher. And then I wanted another layer down in the other corner, so that's what that little tabbed piece is. And figuring out how I'm going to place my rulers. And yeah, then I'm just layering that little bag. That's a little paper bag that came in the kit. It has like a blue grid paper on white, and it's really cute. And then I decided to use one of those tags that also came in the kit as a pull-out tag that's going to go inside of that bag. And so I'm just putting a couple of pieces of pattern paper, and I'm going to attach it with a piece hanging off, and that piece will become the pull tab for it. And I'm just putting some fishtails on it, and then I just curved it up a bit with my hand, and then I decided to put the word pull on it using tiny little letter stamps. And again, I'm using that London Fog as the ink. And putting the date on it, because it says date, so I wanted to put the date there. And then I'll do my journaling later. I'm going to go back to the layering of this bottom corner, and I used that fat ruler piece because I wanted to cover up that big blob of Mr. Huey's. And then some more. That's actually the rest of the tag from the pull tab from the tag. And a Prima button, and just kind of trying to fiddle with which of those Prima buttons I'm going to use. They're a really pretty vintage worn type of button. They're really, really pretty, and they've got dark inked edges on them. They're gorgeous. So now I'm trying to decide on a title, and also on the font for my title, and I had just received those Studio Calico, the scrolly letters, in the mail that day, so I wanted to use those. And the title is going to be Best Present Ever, and so I did the present out of the basic gray letters. They were from, I think they were from the April kit. They were from another Studio Calico kit. And I fuss a little bit with the placement of these words and how I'm going to line them up and that sort of thing. So I ended up tearing them apart so that I could experiment with different spacing and different ways of putting them together. And that is wax paper that I use. Somebody asked me about that. And I just find it easier for placing my letters to just kind of put them all out on the wax paper, and then I can kind of play around with it. And so now I'm going to place all of those gray letters I like my letters to hang off of whatever they're on sometimes, just for a little bit of interest. And so the letters in the word best can lie right against the top of that paper, which gives me a line on which to keep my letter straight. So there we go, Best Present Ever, and I just overlapped those letters so that it looked like they were written in cursive. And now I'm just looking for some small letters that I'm going to write Mother's Day 2008, because that's when this photo was taken. This was actually my Mother's Day photo. And here I completely forgot that I was planning to put those rulers there. And so I'm going to place all of that, and then you're going to see me move it all down, because I completely forgot that I had plans for that space. And I actually really like this look right here, but I really, really wanted to use those rulers, so I did move the letters, even though I did like them there. And so now I'm fiddling with the placement again, and at any moment here it's going to occur to me. I guess I'm going to sew on all those buttons first. And that twine is really nice twine. It's from Lawn Fawn and it came in the kit. It came in, you can see the other two colors, they're still on the tray, the two greenish colors, and then that orangey yellowy color, I guess a mustard almost. And it's a really nice heavy twine. It's really great. I love it. And there's so much of it in the kit that I'll be using that stuff forever. I'm really happy about that. And so some of the buttons I'm sewing on and some of the buttons I'm just glossy accenting on. And here's where I realized that I messed up by putting those letters there. And so I'm going to move them all. Oh well. At least they're the October afternoon ones and they don't, they're pretty easy to move. So. And so I'm going to fuss a little bit with where those rulers are going to line up because I don't want the 13 and the 3 right on top of each other. And then I just use my typewriter on, that's actually a Becky Higgins journaling card, and I typed out the word months and years and almost. And so I'm going to put those strips down and then I'm going to add those little words so that it will end up, and I'm circling 16, and so it says 16 months, and then I'm circling 3, and I'm going to put almost 3 years. So now I'm just going to trim that up a little bit and figure out placement for some of the other embellishments. I knew I wanted that seal looking, that pinked circle to be right there, and I knew I wanted the ribbon to be kind of gathered up and smushed into there. I just used my tiny attacher to keep it in place, and then glossy accents to attach it. I'm just getting it unclogged there, and then putting that button on top. That's the button that came in the kit. And now I'm going to place those letter stickers in a better spot. And what I really like about this is that because those letters are being placed for the second time, they're curling up on me, and I kind of like that. I've had the layout on display in my living room, and the letters are definitely stuck down there. They're not peeling up or anything, but they're cupped so that the tops and the bottoms are curled, and it looks really cool. So I'm just going to outline those with a fine tipped marker, and I do all my outlining when I'm doing this kind of thing. I do all my horizontal lines once and then turn it around and do all the lines again in the other direction. I just find it way faster than trying to outline little tiny squares, so many of them. So I'm putting the final touches on that bottom little cluster of embellishments and using more of that twine to thread the buttons. And I'm actually going through twice. I don't know if you noticed that the first time. I'm putting 2 layers of the twine in each button. So there, then I'm just going to tie it up. And is that it? I guess I'm kind of fiddling. I can't even remember when it's done. Yeah, so I'm putting some more buttons on, and these ones I'm just going to tie the twine on. And when I layer my buttons so that they're overlapping, I just use glossy accents and a bit of a piece of Pop Dot for the one that's overlapping it. So thought about putting those twinkle goosebumps, but I didn't. And so now you're just going to see a close-up of the journaling. And so it says, Sophie and Olivia, you two have loved one another right from the start. Seeing your love every day is the best Mother's Day present I could ask for. Kisses and hugs, Mummy. And so that just pops right into the envelope there. And I love that I can put that journaling on and not have to kind of compete with that wood grain background. That would be hard to journal on because of the all the texture and detail on it. And so here's just a close-up. I don't think I put music here. No, I didn't. So I'll just keep talking. um, so close-up of those rulers. I like how that turned out. And you can see the letters are kind of cupping there. And there's that washi tape I told you was so cute. And there's that really cute glassine. I don't know if it's glassine or paper. I think it's a thin paper, that envelope. And yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.